Do you ever feel like life is just harder for you than other people? That no matter how much mindset work you do, you always end up back in the same cycle of stress, overwhelm, and panic about the future. That's me. And that's where I was this morning. And today I want to share honestly what it feels like and give you 3 steps I'm using to come back to presence when everything feels too much. So, welcome back to Reflections of the Sacred Soul. I'm Mercedes, and I'm going to take you through this today. If you haven't seen it before, this podcast is my reflections from my nervous system regulation journey, which is ongoing as always. And so today we're going to talk about that feeling that everyone else has got it sorted and you haven't, because that's how I feel. That's how I was feeling today. So, what's happening for me, right, is I have got lots of stress building up. So financial stress. I'm running a business and my offers they're not hitting in the way that they used to. I'm shifting my identity at the same time. I'm doing all this nervous system work. I'm having problems with missing my son and not being able to deal with his father, who I have a visceral nervous system reaction every time I have to communicate with him. And every month I get it all gets amplified when PMS kicks in and my hormones start going and everything just piles on and on and on. And I feel like I can't cope with life. And I look and I think everybody else seems to cope. Why can't I cope? Like, what's wrong with me? And one of the things I have to tell myself that there's nothing wrong with me and I'm not failing. This is what would happen to anybody with any system. When every system, like the emotional, financial, relational, hormonal, everything goes off at once. And it's not being me being weak, it's just an overload of my systems. And so where I think, oh yeah, do you know what, like I should be able to cope with this, actually it's me saying to myself, should you really? So there's lots of reasons why it feels tough. So one is I'm doing something that's misaligned. So in my business, I've been trying to sell stuff that I'm not necessarily aligned with anymore, but I'm kind of clearing things out. And so my energy I've not got the right energy behind it. I'm not like really excited to sell it. It's just like, take this off from me. I want to get rid of it. And so that actually drains me and it disconnects me from my audience because I'm not in the right zone. And my nervous system is depleted. So it's years and years of lack of sleep, of stress from external factors, of having to do it all, of being responsible for my life and my son and my home and dealing with dramas and all of that, and growing up with trauma around me when I was a child and all of these things that I've had to experience. My nervous system is totally depleted. And so actually what happens is I can't think properly because when your nervous system is, the brain, like it starts wearing and it can't think properly. And then obviously every month, about a week before my cycle starts, I get PMS. And for me, sometimes it can lead to irritation and combativeness, but often it leads to feeling down, feeling worthless, feeling like I'm not good enough. And it all comes from my hormones changing. And I know it is, and it gets worse and then it gets better and it's always the same. And I'm stuck in this loop. And still, I know it's coming, but it catches me and I forget. And I think, why do I feel so bad? And then I think, oh, that's why. And so I'm stuck in this kind of like perpetual monthly loop, which, isn't pleasant. And life feels hard, but not because I'm broken, but because, and this is something that kind of come to me recently, is I've built a high functioning identity on top of trauma adaptations. And at the moment, I'm kind of trying to unwind all of that. So I'm trying to disentangle this confident, able to cope with anything, able to function, able to do it all, able to run everything you give at me, I can cope with it. And actually underneath, I've made all this it's like a house built on sand. So I've got this trauma underneath and I've made this and I'm kind of like, and it's one wrong move and it's going to go like that. And so what I'm trying to do is gradually unpick it and unpick it. And that's triggering a lot in my nervous system. And I'm having to work through things as I do it. So one of the things that for me, I'm coming back into is I trained as a yoga teacher in 2014. And at that time, I was doing yoga every day. And actually, what happened is I got myself into quite a good mental state, and it was really beneficial for me. And I continued that on and on. And then I got pregnant, and I wasn't doing it as much. And I had my son, and I never seemed to be able to figure out how to fit it in. And it kind of dropped away. And I miss it. I miss the way in which it calmed my nervous system, the way in which it brought me back to balance, and all of the regulatory things that it gave to me. And I still have my meditation practice, but I feel like I need yoga as well. So I'm kind of like setting this new mantra is yoga is who I am, not what I do. So trying to bring that into my life. Now, for you, if you're going through this and you're feeling that like I can't cope with my life, it's about finding one ritual that works for you that brings you back into your body every day. So it can be something small. So it doesn't have to be like if I sit down on the yoga mat, I might do 20 minutes, half an hour. Sometimes I might do an hour. It doesn't have to be that. It could be a 5-minute practice that just brings you back to you. It might be breathing. It might be being aware of where you are in your body. It might be a short meditation, but it's just something that grounds you and brings you back to who you actually are. So once you've kind of like got back to that, this is where you are. This is who you, like you're grounded, right? You're getting used to doing that grounded. I've developed a 3 R's reset. So we start with the first one, which is recognize. So notice when the freeze flood cycle of pushing instead of pushing through. So like you notice what's happening in your body. So you notice that you're in this kind of like freeze and everything's flooding in and it feels impossible to push through when you feel like you can't cope. So you just recognize that actually I'm in that state. I'm in a freeze flood cycle, right? I'm just naming it. And then you can swap it out. So often what happens when we go into that freeze flood state and our brain's overwhelmed, we go into a panic driven, I need to fix everything. So this is about picking one aligned micro action that you can do. So we're not trying to get the whole list out and deal with every single thing that we can deal with. One thing that's going to take you forward. One thing that's going to help you today. And doing that. And it could be small, but just allow yourself to do that one thing and make that the only thing that you need to do. And then it's returning. So returning to your body. So that thing that you found that allows you to reset, yoga, breath, whatever somatic practice it is, make it your reset button. So you recognize, replace, return. So all the way you're just regulating the nervous systems. When you recognize, you're naming it. That automatically has a calming effect on the nervous system because you're not living in it, you're naming it, you're stepping outside of it. When you replace, you are saying to the nervous system through the brain, I don't need to think about all these things right now. I'm just going to think about this one thing. That's very calming for the nervous system because the brain's not trying to hold loads of stuff and over panicking. And when you return to your body and you do something that calms the body and connects you with the body, the physical nervous system, it says, okay, I'm safe because I'm doing something where I'm in my body. Because when you're heightened emotionally, you're kind of outside your body. It's a bit like you expand out. That's why all of these internal things like digestion and stuff stop when you're going to fight or flight because you're expanding out. So we bring you back into the body. We allow those things to happen again. We go back into rest and digest. So now we're in a calm state, calm, connected state. And it has huge benefits. So that's what I'm trying to do on a daily basis. And am I fixed overnight? No. Do I still have underlying anxiety? Do I live with anxiety day in and day out? Yes. Am I still triggered by things in my life? Absolutely, yes. Am I gaining control of it? Do I feel stronger? Do I feel like I have the power to deal with it when those things happen? Absolutely, yes. And this is what it's all about. It's about giving you the power back. And just remembering that if you're feeling that, you're feeling like you can't cope, it's not because you're a failure. You're learning how to live without running. Okay, so you're learning how to just get by in a different way. So I'd like to invite you for a little reflection to think about something. If you fully trusted that who you are is enough, what would you not try and do today? So just think about that. So if you fully trust who you are is enough, what would you not try and do today? So things you're trying to cram in, what could you let go of? And what would you let yourself receive instead? So start to think about that. So I think what it would feel like to be enough. So if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe so that you get more videos and it gets seen by more people. And I will put a link in the description to my school group. So if you want to connect with me more and you want to get more of this kind of content from me, you can come into there and it's completely free to join and I'd love to see you there. So put the link below. And it's called the Sacred Pause. That's it. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow for another edition of Reflections of the Sacred Self.